Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. I'm your host Miguel here, my co-host Charlie, and in this week's episode, we're going to talk about the latest Funko news and rumors.
And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's talk Funko News and Rumors.
All right, now it's time to talk about the latest Funko news and rumors. This last week of jam-packed Funko news.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. Not as many rumors and leaks and stuff like we normally have, but there was a lot of announced things, like whether we got an official picture or announcement of something that's going to be coming out, pre-order, etc. But I wanted to just kind of start it off right off the bat with one of the ones that I was super excited about, and it is we're getting another Linkin Park Pop album, which is sick. This is a reanimation album. Honestly, the first album, Hybrid Theory, was amazing, and that Pop album is still one of my favorite like Funko Pop albums in general of any of the ones that they've come out with. The mold always was sick, and this one now is the next one up. So this one, I think actually this album was their second album. I think it was like 2002, I think the last time I saw. Because originally I was like, why didn't they do Meteora? But that one actually is newer, so maybe they're doing them in like kind of an order. But this one lends perfectly well to Funko because it's, you know, it almost looks like that Transformer figure that they have, which looks super sick.
I mean, I think this now dethrones the OG Hybrid Theory one. To make this, in my opinion, is the best Pop album. I think this one is straight up fire. It is perfect, like you said, for Funko Pop form. And I love, like, when you get these album covers that we've talked about before, where it's not just the artist, it's, you know, incorporating image from the album, which both of them are. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think like most of the albums for the most part, they have been really good at, like you said, making whatever the album art is into like a pop. And sometimes it happens to be the artist because they're on the cover. But I like when it's not, when it's like one of these figures or a certain, like, you know, type of thing. And obviously with Linkin Park, they do this a lot with a bunch of their albums. But yeah, this one, the colors are amazing. I mean, like, it's really gonna, you know, pop like really well. But yeah, I'm a huge Linkin Park fan, one of my favorite bands of all time. So this is definitely one of the ones I want for sure. I mean, the first one I love, and like I still say, the way that pop looked was like amazing, and it was in a pop album. It was crazy. It never came out as an actual just regular pop. So this is another cool one, just to add to the line. I think this line is definitely like a low key, like amazing line, just from the consistency of like how good each one has been since they've come out. Honestly,
I completely agree. And it seems like they're restocking some of the original ones. So like if you want to add them to your collection, I mean, I was never able to get the Hybrid Theory one when it came out for Linkin Park, and I just got it. So I'm like super pumped to add that to my collection. And it seems like they may be doing that for some of the other ones as well.
Yeah, there's a couple. Keep a lookout like on Funko. I think the Lil Wayne one is on Funko.
Yeah, the Lil Wayne one's on Funko too.
So like, yeah, I think there's a Biggie one that's, I believe, still up there, one of the newer ones. So like, yeah, definitely keep an eye out because there's a lot of these, you know, ones popping up on Entertainment Earth, and Funko will restock them, and other sometimes like Hot Topics and stuff as well like to carry these. Especially if you go into a Hot Topic, a lot of times they have the pop albums like in stock in the store. But yeah, definitely a big fan of that. That was, you know, right off the bat, one of the big things that I was excited for on the news front. But what about you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really caught my eye was actually a Star Trek.com exclusive pop. It's for Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan. They made a Khan pop, which they've never had this before. It's going to have a special like 40th anniversary sticker from the movie. I just think it's awesome. It was actually, I read with the article when it was released, like it was based off of a fan contest, which I don't remember ever seeing. Nice. So like people voted and this was the pop that they wanted. I feel like Funko should do this more often. I'm not sure if it obviously was something probably on StarTrek.com with Funko, but I think they should just overall, like the fans spoke, this is what they wanted, and the pop is awesome. I actually pre-ordered it. I really want this for my collection.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing that you said. Like, they should do this more often. They've done it a few times because I actually have like a fan submitted the candy corn.
Oh,
I don't know if
yep.
you remember seeing that. I actually got that in a mystery box, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty good value, and I was like, "Oh, this is a nice pull." And like obviously, I'm a fan of Halloween and horror and all that kind of stuff, so it fit perfectly into like what I would want to collect. But it's like one of those interesting ones that, like, yeah, it was so it was like an artist or whatever it was. It submitted for certain ones, and this person won, and they made it into a pop. And like, yeah, if they could do that, that'd be pretty sweet if they do that more often. I feel like they don't do it enough, and
Yeah,
it's
no.
it's just a unique way of like getting us as fans into helping out with some of these designs, because we criticize Funko all the time with the designs where like some hit it out of the park and some are like not as good. So it's good that they're have a chance to listen to some of their fans.
Yeah, and even if
and
they just
do
do
that.
it like once a year or
Mhm.
or once every quarter during like their big events, like, not to go off topic, but so Disney actually started to do this with, for all of you who are familiar with, in Galaxy's Edge, the park in Disney World and Disneyland, they
Yeah.
have like legacy lightsabers, which are the big collectible lightsabers within the park. And they did it last year. They had fans vote. They gave you like a bunch of the different things to vote on, and whoever won, they made it. And actually, Cal Kestis won. He was the like main Jedi in the Jedi Fallen Order video game. And now
Yeah.
just at Celebration, they did it again. And like people are loving it, and it shows it works. It gets the fans excited. And I know when that lightsaber finally dropped, like it flew off the shelves.
Yeah.
So
That's
I mean,
that's pretty
it's
cool.
a cool idea.
Yeah, so they should definitely do something like that. That's awesome. Another this was a line. So we had a few lines that were announced, like new waves of pops, and one of them is for the brand new Disney Plus show Miss Marvel. So that's a line. So obviously that show just recently started. First episode was this past week. It's going to be airing every Wednesday. Big fan. I thought it was cool. I like the show. I
I
watched it
loved
with
it.
my wife. Yeah, I love like it was cute. It was different. But yeah, that's definitely something that I think is makes sense. Marvel in general does well with Funko, so this is going to be just another line that they're going to pump out a bunch of pops. It looks like the initial line, I think it was maybe 6 pops. I think if I'm not mistaken, there was a picture they showed of the back where you see the full wave.
Yeah.
And there's a few like characters and a few people in there that they don't really show in the
No,
episode,
because I
which was
don't think
surprising.
Funko didn't officially like the
Yeah,
back
that got leaked.
leaked.
That got leaked.
Yeah,
Funko officially announced
the
her,
one pop,
Miss Marvel pop, and then like a keychain, I think,
and
and I
then
think
a
like a
Hot
metallic
Topic
version or
exclusive.
something. Yeah,
Which, it's funny you bring that up though. So here's what I find interesting that they did, and maybe they don't know the people who are releasing the drops. I noticed on the back of the box they have 2 different versions of Miss Marvel. One, well, before she becomes Miss
yeah,
Marvel, the
yeah.
costume that she wears in the
It's under her
first
name, like
episode.
her
Yeah.
normal name. Yeah,
I they should have came out with that one first, in my opinion. I mean, you all know she's gonna get the suit and become the superhero, but
yeah.
the
But
other
it
one's
is
just
interesting.
as
The
cool.
official one, yeah, the official one dropped is the one in her like actual outfit.
Exactly, which
When
is
when
hasn't
that's
been in
not
the
the one
show
you've
yet.
seen. Yeah, exactly. So I did think that was a little odd. So this drop is weird. We've said it before that they do pretty well when it comes to the shows, because they, like with Kenobi, for instance, they're dropping,
Yeah.
after an episode, they drop something that had to do with that. And I feel like they did that with some of the other previous Disney Plus shows. But yeah, with Ms. Marvel was like, again, this was leaked, but even just the concept that part of that common line is that, and then the one that they actually officially dropped is like her already full in costume, which not necessarily a spoiler, but like you don't really see that in the
Yeah.
first episode. She's still obviously building up to that. So it is weird that you see, I mean, that maybe in a trailer you see her like that,
Yeah,
so
I think it
she's
was in the
gonna look
trailer.
like that.
Exactly.
But it was interesting like how they dropped it. But yeah, it looks like a cool line. Not something really I'm gonna go after. I'm definitely a fan of the show and I'll continue to watch it. But if you like the show so far, there's obviously a line for you, which will be coming out soon, I'm assuming. So we'll probably get more official. Maybe when another episode or so comes out, we might see those like actually drop
Yeah, I would
on.
hope, you would
So
think.
yeah,
But
the
then speaking
timing
of
would be
Disney Plus
better.
shows, they announced a new Kenobi Pop. So it
Yep.
was Tala. She's the Imperial Guard in disguise, who ultimately we talked about last week in our review of the episode, who is helping the Jedi escape, and she's essentially probably going to be, one of the first people of the rebellion. But the Pop is actually, which I predicted last week that this would be coming out, but they decided, which makes sense, it has her in the Imperial uniform,
Yeah.
which I mean, I think I'm gonna get the Pop. I like it. I feel like we may get another version of her later on down in the line of her with just normal clothes on.
Yeah.
But what did you think of that Pop?
Yeah, it looks awesome. I think it makes more sense that they put it like that because I was like, they're real. And it was like, her in a disguise. And then, especially we'll get more in depth on, if you guys are watching our recaps of the Kenobi show, we'll talk a little bit more about this on that. But she, for the most part in the episode, like,
Yeah.
Her in that outfit was a big deal. A few things that she has to go through. But either way, like, I thought it looks cool. It's awesome. Like, you recognize her and the outfit right away when you see it. So that the hat, it's Imperial, right away. So I thought that was definitely a pretty cool one that they dropped. And I like how they've been doing their Wednesday drops, which, like we were just speaking about Ms. Marvel, they do a better job because they're dropping it after an episode, something revealed or something new, and then that's when you get a new pop.
I
And that
actually feel
one's
like
a cool one.
this has been one of the better like Funko drops from a Disney Plus show. So far none of, in my opinion, the Pops are really like just fillers. I know we got 2 Rivas, but one has her with the lightsaber ignited and one doesn't. I mean, you obviously the one with the lightsaber is probably going to be the more popular one, but I like how they've dropped them. It hasn't been like a crazy line, but everyone, like, personally, me as a Star Wars collector, like, I want everyone that they've announced so far, where I can't say the same for some of the Marvel shows because it's just like they're gone like way too ridiculous with just making random ones that they don't need.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more buttoned up, and like there's only one that I'm like, what's going on? Why is it not out? And that's obviously the Leia one, which we've been talking about that, and we know that's got to be coming. Like, it would be the biggest miss if they don't. So that's definitely like maybe the next one that'll come up. But I mean, you did call like her being one because of just the way that scene was and everything. It just made sense. Like, you know what? That's a good Funko Pop. And I mean, the actress is cool too. If you guys are Game of Thrones fans, she's from Game of Thrones. I've noticed a lot of actors from Game of Thrones are popping up in series and Stranger Things. We had somebody from Game of Thrones that popped up. So a lot of these like awesome characters are coming up in more shows, which is cool to see. Then so that one was awesome. And sticking with more lines and big waves, we did have, if you guys are WWE fans, pretty big wave of new WWE Pops. I'm not gonna lie to you, I knew none of the people, like, because there was a lot of like these newer wrestlers. If you guys are fans, I mean, if you're watching here on YouTube, we always pop up on the screen like the glam shots and stuff of these. They look cool. They assuming look like the actual wrestlers. They do a pretty good job of the wrestling pops and making them pretty detailed. But I'm a WWE fan in the sense of like, really old wrestling I liked, and I like certain people and stuff like that, but I just don't watch it enough, and I don't watch it now to know like who any of these people were, or any of the new age. So, and I know it's a pretty big fan base. It's actually, wrestling is an enormous fan base in general, but with Funko, I know it's also a big fan base, and even some people that listen. I know Sensei listens all the time, and he's a big fan. So I know, like, the rest of you guys. But yeah, that was a pretty cool line. Just to kind of add, it's a big line, and they're obviously continuing to add more.
It is funny though too. I mean, I completely agree with you. Like, my fandom of wrestling is the same as yours. Like, I loved it growing up. From Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior up to like the Stone Cold Steve Austin, like the Rock days, and then after that, I just haven't been able to follow it. I really used to like work on WWE, so like I'm familiar with some of the wrestlers, but I have some of the legends in the Funko Pops. But what I'm getting at here is like, I love that they continuously come out with current wrestlers and legendary wrestlers all the time when they make these drops. Like, that's what we always say all the time. Like, they should do more often with sports. It's like they made a sports legend line and like they called it a day, like, and then they continue with just like the most current ones. Like, I know they've done that with like the NFL, for example. I just, WWE, they do it. It's one of whether you collect it or not, in my opinion, it's one of the best overall lines because they do that. They really don't just make current stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's another reason why I think it's like a very successful line, because it's getting all fans. If you're a current fan, and more than likely you know some of the old wrestlers anyways, and then if you're not and you're kind of more like us, you know more about the old wrestlers, it gives you a chance to collect some of the legends
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Another
But,
pop that I'm going to go back to Star Wars they came out with.
mhm.
So Amazon has started this line where they're coming out with like some of the great women characters within Star Wars, and they just announced the next one's going to be Sabine Wren, which she's a Star Wars Rebels character. So we have two pops of her in that line. She's going to be in the new Ahsoka show, but this one is awesome because she has the dark saber in it. She's like flying. It just this is one of the best Star Wars pops, actually, in my opinion, that they've come out with in a long time.
Yeah.
I love the design of it. I love the colors. I love the look. She's an awesome character. She's only going to become way more popular once she's in live action. And so far, they're doing a really good line with this, greatest woman in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't remember the official name of the line, but I love it so far between that and the Padme pop that came out.
Kind of, yeah. And I feel like both of the boxes are really cool.
Yeah.
The colors and everything. So yeah, they're doing it's really cool. They're doing with Star Wars specifically. Sorry, they do a really good job of making a certain line or a wave or whatever they may come out like look different and change up the box and do
They
like
do.
like the comic ones, and they've done it with a few different ones. So yeah, that was definitely an awesome one. It looked really cool too as well. Switching up to another Marvel, we have another comic cover. So the comic covers continue to grow. We're
Yeah.
getting a Thor one. We had just recently gotten a Doctor Strange one, so we're getting a bunch of different ones. But now we're getting Thor, and these are like really classic comic style looking, comic book itself, and obviously the pop. So cool one, the classic Thor look, the bright yellow hair and everything. But yeah, that was cool. What'd you think?
I thought it was cool, but do you realize it's the second Thor one they've announced within a month? This is actually
I actually thought it was the same one initially
so did
because
I
I
in the
remember
beginning, and
them
it's
being
not.
one. But
One's
is
a
it just the
specialty
same?
series. It's a
Oh,
completely
okay.
different cover. And
And
this
one's a
is,
Target one, I think,
yeah, Target or Wal. I think it may be a Walmart
or
exclusive.
maybe one.
But they're both cool, but I'm just like, we don't have an Iron Man one yet. Like, why do we need
Oh
two
yeah,
Thor ones already? Like, it's just, or sometimes I just wonder, it's like these were all, let's just say there's a huge line being made and other one just got made beforehand. And like, now they're just had to announce the two Thor ones before we get, like, I'm just using Iron Man as an example again. We don't have a
yeah,
Captain America one. Like,
yeah.
I love Thor, but yeah, like, why did we announce two like so close to each other? Just, it makes no sense. Not to
That
be
is
like a
true.
negative
Yeah, I
Nancy.
think no, I think with I mean, we've said it before. I think with the comic book cover line, it's already like kind of weird because like he thought it was going to be a certain line, and now they've come out with a couple random ones. They have like some smaller characters and not as many of the major ones. That we're not getting an Iron Man, Captain America, but we're getting a Groot and a Monica Rambeau, and like people that maybe you just wouldn't think right away
Yeah.
that you would get, and that's kind of what they've gone with. So specifically with Marvel, when it comes to the comic cover line, I think yeah, it's a with DC. I feel like they're kind of covering their bases a little better with like some more major, and they just don't have as many out yet. I feel like, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I think it look cool, but yeah, it's interesting that it is a second one like right away, um, that we already
Yeah.
got. So
But trying to think what else
yeah.
really caught my eye. This,
Well, there was the another Disney Deluxe, so we're getting
yep,
another villain. This is a Hot Topic Scar and Hyena, so it's like the Scar Pop with the hyenas around them. This is another one of those ones that you're kind of building out a scene with the villains. I think we got
Hades
Maleficent or
so
Hades,
far.
that's what it
Yeah.
was, yeah. So we got there's gonna build them like side by side. So another one that came out. They have a lot of deluxe lines. I'm surprised like Funko's making so many of these, but yeah, it's just another one to kind of add to that
Yeah.
uh,
What do you think of
line.
these deluxe lines? Because it's funny, like the Disney, like I'm obviously a huge Disney fan and I love the Disney villains and these pops all look cool, but like the line that they're making doesn't make sense to like just connect. Like I love how the Star Wars like bounty hunter ones, for example, that was like a scene from a movie. The
Yeah,
like
this is
Avengers
just
Assemble one is a scene, but now they're like making these connect ones. Even like the Star Wars Sith line, like I mean, I'm collecting it, but when I think out loud about it, it's like the connection of that one makes no sense. It
yeah.
seems like they're doing that now more and more.
Yeah, they're basically just making it like a certain wave or that fits in one like line, and they're just making it be that they connect to be
Yeah.
displayed together. So like these are all villains, so like they have nothing to do with each other, obviously, because they're from completely different movies, but they're all like the villains, and then they're just putting them in where you can connect them and display them. It's all about like display and everything. Like it's a cool idea if you're not like a hardcore collector and maybe you collect just a few Disney pops or a couple things here and there. You have like movies set up or posters, and then you have this little setup.
Yep.
Might be
That's
cool.
true.
But like if you're more of like a hardcore collector, especially if you're an inbox collector, like at that point, it's like it's a waste because they're big, like the space, the boxes are always bigger for no reason. And it's just not gonna look the same. Like they just don't display anywhere near as well as if you do take them out and connect them. So yeah, that's my overall thought. Like it's a cool, like you said, it looks cool. They make a good job of the details that they put on the pops, but like, am I going out and collecting them? Like, no, I actually don't have any of the deluxe style like connect ones at all. No Star Wars, no Marvel, no Disney, none of them, just because of that reason. Like, I just don't see the point of getting them unless you're going to actually have a nice setup to display them.
Which is
Kind of
totally,
just like,
totally fair.
yeah, that's kind of just my take.
Another new thing, which I'm sure everyone, if you're on the Funko email list, you got that they're coming out with a Freddy Funko Happy Birthday Funko Pop, which I know we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about a little bit earlier. I think the pop looks awesome. I want it, but I do feel like Funko should be, if you're part of the Funko fan club, how hard is it for them to like send you this pop when it's your birthday? They could like track,
Yeah.
like you get it like once you get one, you don't get it every year for your birthday. Like they could do something
Yeah,
like
they could
that.
easily do that. Yeah.
I just think it would be a nice special touch. And I just think it's totally random to just come out with a happy birthday Freddy Funko.
Yeah, it's random that it's gonna be like a release versus it being that way, like you said. I think like the one thing, and I feel like I may have said this before, but like I feel like Funko drops the ball when it comes to like Freddy Funko. Like obviously that's their big mascot and there's like the name, whatever. But like I just like think this the spectrum of it is so wide. Like you either get super limited SDCC style, whatever, like Freddy Funkos, or you get these Freddy Funkos that are just so massively produced, like the one that they were giving away for free, and they had like a billion of them.
Yeah.
When there's nothing like in the middle, like you're not getting like a little bit more of a rare, like Freddy Funko should be kind of a rare pop. Like I don't think it should be this massively produced common pop, which is like the Skater Freddy and like what we're getting now with this birthday one. I'm assuming is probably going to be the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And not that it needs to be numbered, but like I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I
No,
just
I
feel like
totally
they
get what you're saying. It takes like, yeah, I know I get what you're saying. The
like I've
birthday
always thought
one,
of it like Freddy Funko. Oh my god, if you have Freddy Funko, that's sick. But then they have these ones that they make millions of them and they're worth really nothing. So then like when you see it, it's like, oh, that's a cool pop. But it's not like you don't get that cool, like, whoa, that's a Freddy Funko versus like the grails that we see, and it's like they're just saying it's like weird that it's like such a gap between the two of those like types of
no, I do agree. I like when they come out for like special reasons, cons or like the fun night stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like the birthday one, I would like to think this will this one should just be a common release. So if you want to buy it for a present for someone, like I'm
Yeah.
hoping that's what their idea is, not that it's going to go up on the shop and ultimately it will sell out and you can just like never get it again. Cause then it's really makes no point. Like I think it's super dumb then
To make it
because
birthday, yeah.
just to make a birthday one that they just randomly have, or it should have came out for like Freddie Funko's birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
But even yeah, like the skiing one, like that technically was supposed to come out for I'm assuming the Olympics, but they didn't get like official
Mhm.
branding for it to be done that way. But probably should have just been like a limited one for the Olympics and went away. Like it's sold out in the shop and they put it back up. Like it's still there now.
Yeah, and just like a
Like,
random pop that just happens to be
yeah,
Freddy Funko mold.
yeah. I we can talk about this all day, but I completely agree with you. It should be something special and because that's just the way they've turned Freddy Funko into that, in my opinion. That like
Yeah,
he
that's
demands like something special. It's not just
exactly.
they're not there are now a cult, like a pop culture brand where Freddy Funko now really just is their mascot. It's not just what
Yeah,
they're
it's the
making.
mascot on the face of it. Yeah, and then sticking with Funko and Freddy Funko, that kind of thing, is the Funko Fright Night. And so we got an official like date for that. It's October 7th, and it will be done in New York City, which I know we had rumored this or talked about it before when it was first kind of talked about that this was going to be in the fall and it would be in New York City. So the only thing is like based off of kind of what they're saying is that this is going to be like an event, a special specific event, which will be all like horror slash Halloween style related Funko Pops and drops and stuff like that. But that's taking place when like NYCC, New York Comic Con, is actually going on, which we know Funko is going to be, well, it's supposed to be back in New York Comic Con now, because, now they're getting back to the conventions. And it's interesting because we were talking about this before when we were kind of just before we got on here, and we were just saying like, does this mean like it's going to have a booth that's more specific to that, or is this like a complete different event, or like because like are they not going to sell? Obviously, they're going to sell NYCC pops, but
Yeah.
it's not NYCC is not going to only be horror related pops. Like they can't do that. So like, what do you think? Like, what do you think is
I,
going to happen?
I personally think that they're overplaying. This is only going to be like hard Halloween pops. I do think it's going to be the Funko booth at New York Comic Con, and it's just Halloween themed. And maybe we'll get like a Freddy Funko, going back to him, like a special New York, like a pop for the Halloween event, something along those lines. But I just don't see them having a separate event outside of their booth at New York Comic Con. Maybe they will, but it just kind of goes back to showing like with the beach bash, for example, that just recently happened. That was their event, but the pops didn't have a special sticker. The only ones that had like the random ones was Festival of Fun. And I
Yeah,
think the only reason that happened was because of the whole New York City Comic Con debacle. They
yeah.
decided, let's just make up a new sticker to slap on these pops for the event.
Yeah,
So
I mean
yeah,
the Beach Bash one makes sense to like what this probably will be or what it should be, because that was kind of like their thing. They're like, oh, this is our theme. We're gonna have a booth. It's gonna be themed this, but it was all different fandoms and
yeah.
different drops like they would normally do at a con. But obviously, it was a smaller con. It wasn't San Diego or New York, so it's obviously already initially smaller. So they can kind of get away with that a little bit and still maybe make some of the pops kind of themed in the whole summer, like that whole beach thing, which because some of them were, some weren't, but they were kind of like mostly like that. So like I could see them maybe making some of them this more fall, Halloween, like horror style, but like mixed in with the rest. But that's like my thought too, that I think it's just gonna be like a themed booth or theme like to the overall event, but we're still gonna get like our
Yeah.
normal NYCC style drop,
The
I would
one
assume.
Yeah, the one thing I do find interesting though, for someone who's been to New York Comic Con so many times, they've their themed booths are like pretty new for the cons,
Yeah,
but even though they had probably the most prominent space on the floor for any brand at New York Comic Con, it was nothing like what it's been recently that I've seen the pictures of, like picture opportunities. Like you
hmm,
actually have like a huge Funko section. It's basically you're waiting in a line to get to the Funko booth. That's not even technically even part. You don't even see the Funko booth anymore. And you get up there and it's legitimately just a few people behind a booth with just, walls with shelves with all the pops on, where like I saw the images at Star Wars Celebration. Like it was a big to do. There was a big to do at like the beach bash. Like there was games and stuff. Like I'm curious if they bought more floor space to have that type of environment at New York Comic Con. So that
yeah,
would be interesting too.
yeah. So I guess we're gonna see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get kind of a sneak peek at San Diego Comic Con, which will be
Yeah.
first to kind of see kind of what they're doing going back into the big major cons. Um, but few leaks. I guess we got a couple like leaks and rumors just to kind of like throw those out there to kind of end this topic. But we did have, I saw a rumor of an 18-inch Vegeta pop, which I think that would be pretty
That's
awesome.
pretty
I think
sweet.
any 18-inch is usually pretty awesome, but when they make like a big, cool major character, I mean, we haven't really gotten too many of like this style type of anime in a bigger size. So that would be an awesome one, I think, definitely to have. Of course, I Am Groot is a new series that's going to be coming out. They announced that. We got like a poster of it. It's going to be a mini, like a shorts, like the series is all like shorts. We're going to get a line for that, which makes sense. Obviously, they
Yep.
do all the other Disney Plus shows and stuff. So why not do
It's
this?
the
And
next
Groot.
collector core box too.
Yeah, exactly. And that, so they're gonna like milk this, I think, a lot. Groot, it's gonna be like their
Yes.
Grogu, Marvel's version of Grogu, basically.
It's
I'm
funny.
assuming.
Do you remember the Olaf pops that came out for like the
Yes,
Olaf
yes, yes.
shorts? I think it's gonna be exactly the same
Yeah,
because the
so that makes
Groot
sense for
is
each
a short
episode.
show. Yeah, and they're just
Yeah,
gonna milk it.
yeah. So it'll be like a different looking one for each episode. And then this one was pretty awesome. So this is actually a San Diego Comic-Con. Speaking of, I believe this was kind of like initially leaked. We're supposed to be getting more official stuff soon. If you guys are listening to this, you might already know some of the drops,
Yeah.
but throughout this week, I believe we're going to get some more SDCC kind of announcements. But He Who Remains was the first one that, and that's from Loki, which again, we talked about this last time, like the Loki line, like that's crazy that like we had that initial wave and we knew some were missing, but they're coming out with them little by little, and they have been essentially con pops
Yeah.
mostly, or like exclusive type pops that are like continuing the rest of this line, which I thought was interesting because they're not doing that really with any other of the shows that came
They're
around the
not at
same
all.
time. Like, yeah, Loki was really the only one that now we're getting more of these, like what if pops here and there. We had a couple big waves, but yeah, with the Loki one, we're getting more of these like exclusives, and that one looks sick. I mean, we said that should have been
Yeah,
a
that's
pop from the
awesome.
beginning. Like a lot of these, that a lot of the ones that are coming out, I feel like they should have already been out, but I like that they're doing them as like the con more exclusive style
Me too.
pop.
And he's perfect for that.
Yeah, for sure.
One,
But yeah, go ahead.
this is a random thought that I had that I've been wanting to bring up the past few episodes and keep forgetting, but you reminded me when you just recently bought the Loki Avengers with Scepter Pop from Funko. Have you noticed that they're putting retail exclusive pops like crazy on their website
Yeah,
now under the exclusives?
You had said it at one point that they're starting to do that. And I remember looking and not really realizing it, but it's because they're up there as like normal pops, but under the exclusive like
Yeah,
category. But then if you go and click on them, you'll see the glam shot of the actual box. You can see like where it's exclusive to, but it's exclusive to multiple different shared places, not just Funko Shop exclusives anymore. Because that section used to always be
the
the
Funko
Funko Shop
shops. I don't
exclusives that
like
just
that they're
didn't sell
doing
out.
this. I think
Yeah,
I don't like
I
it.
I don't mind it. I like it, but I feel like maybe it should be something separate. It shouldn't be under this. It should just be kind of like a little shared thing, and it should kind of just come and go where they drop a few here and there. Because I do like the idea that you can get it and not, like, if you missed it and they happen to have an
That's
overflow of stuff,
true.
that you can just go on to Funko and you can do a purchase of multiple ones, like what I ended up doing essentially. So I got, you guys didn't know my birthday was, like a week ago or whatever, and Funko sends you out like a 15% coupon thing. So I was looking at it and I wanted to get like the F1 pops, which I spoke about those before, like when I
Yep.
knew they were coming out, and I had them in my cart and they were actually coming up as low stock. So I was like, wow, I don't want to miss out on these. So I decided to do that, and I built a little bit of a cart. I got the Batman cover, which you spoke about. Like I ended up describing that, and then I was looking through the exclusives and the back end stock just to see if there's something that maybe I just was looking for. And I saw the Loki with Scepter, and it's an Entertainment Earth, which I think that's even more interesting because it'd be different if they're putting up just hot topic stuff and random, but like Entertainment Earth, that's kind of cool that they're doing that. So like I found it kind of cool that it gave me the chance to get that, and I was able to purchase that with along with everything else and get a discounted free shipping, etc. So I kind of like it, and I don't think they're doing it too excessively that it's just getting out of control. I think it's just some of these exclusives that just kind of either didn't sell good and they just have a ton of them, or like Loki, for instance, you're just kind of randomly getting an older drop thrown in there.
There's more on there than you think though, because
Yeah.
I noticed it keeps growing more and more. And there like I don't mind like what you're saying, how you got the Loki one, but like recently they had like Jurassic Park event only exclusive Funko Pop, like which I feel
Oh,
like
see, yeah, that's a
cheapened
little.
the exclusivity of getting it if you went to the Jurassic Park exhibit. you know, even though I wanted it for my collection per se, I didn't go to the exhibit, so I didn't get a chance to get it.
Yeah.
Like that stuff shouldn't be going, or even like Target exclusives are going up on there that you can still then go get at Target. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand
It
the
is a
whole,
little random that they did it,
yeah,
like that whole
but
thing
it seems like
happened.
it's here to stay.
Yeah, because like you said, if they're continuing to build on it, I'm sure as they get them or if they sell out, they'll
Yeah.
get taken off. But yeah, it's interesting. Let us know what you guys think. I mean, make sure to definitely comment down below your thoughts in general of the news that some of the stuff that you're excited for, some of these like leaked things, and then like what are your thoughts with Funko dropping more of these exclusive shared kind of exclusives on their site? Like, is it a good thing? Do you think they shouldn't be doing that? I think I like it for the most part, but like I said, if it's like like you said, actually an event type of thing, like yeah, that should only be really at the event. But I don't know. We'll see. They know they're selling it. It's just a way of
Yeah.
them putting it
To get
up
rid
there
of
for
it.
somebody else to buy it and get rid of it. Um, but that's just going to be the news for this week. So jam packed for sure. We'll be back again with another news episode next week, like we normally do, just kind of covering, see what else. Maybe we'll get some SDCC news. Hopefully, we can start talking about that because that will be coming up pretty soon. But that's going to be it for the news and the rumors.